So our discovery tour is discovering the work of international needs in a country overseas that we support.
So how was planning, what you were going to do and yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I think for international needs Nepal, their main themes or their project is vocational training, water and CAP children, so sponsored children. The Nepali people are very kind and very generous and they just want to serve. In Nepal, when we were there as a team, we couldn't drink the water out of the taps because it's unsafe. And so to actually see this water pump put in, they had to dig 120 metres down.
When you start putting faces to
Yes.
What you read about or even what you support, I think you'd get such a great revelation of what's going on.
Cultural do's and don'ts, don't eat with your left hand. I think for the team, I think they're processing at the moment what they're seeing and what they experienced, because they saw a lot. I bit into a piece of chicken.
It was raw chicken.
And it was pinky red. So I went down for a day.
Oh no,
I'm thinking it was probably that, it could be something else, but it was from the chicken, yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to our first official episode of the INNZider podcast. And today for our first episode, we're really lucky to have such a special guest in the house. And we have our very own ministry and resource coordinator, Rachel. And so welcome, Rachel.
Oh, thank you, Judah. It's wonderful to be here today.
Awesome. Well, so how about you just tell us about your role here, a little bit about yourself, and how did you end up at International Needs?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was, 6 years in July. It's been such a blessing and honour to work with International Needs and really see lives transform around the world in multiple countries. And I was actually in the retail sector, so in management. So my heart is people. And I really had a desire to work for a non-profit. And so this role position came up and I applied. And I'm just so thankful for this opportunity. And it's been great to see behind the scenes in a non-profit. And like my mum would always say, our biggest fan, she has one word for international needs, and it's effective. And I've really seen the effectiveness of helping others around the world.
Awesome. Very cool. What's one fun fact about you that people don't know?
Well, as many know in the office, I absolutely love animals. So cats. I always used to want to be a zookeeper.
A zookeeper?
A zookeeper.
Nice.
I know. Or a vet nurse. So definitely love animals.
Yeah.
And I can be literally walking down the street and I'll see a cat and my cat radar will go off. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how many animals have you had?
Gosh, multiple. I even had seahorses.
Seahorses?
Seahorses.
In a tank?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Wow. And at the moment, what do you have?
An elderly 14-year-old cat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Very cute. Are you going to get more animals soon?
Maybe a dog again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love
See what
dogs.
life
I'm a
brings.
dog person.
Yeah.
Cool. And what's your favourite part about working at International Needs so far? What has been?
Yeah, I just think the impact, when we have donors give to a water well, having gone to Nepal and actually seen the water well and seeing this community now have fresh water is incredible. 2023, I was in Nepal. We went to a rural village where International Needs had helped put in a water tank, and the water was piped to the 16 homes in that village. And we actually got to meet with this family. And the young girl in the family, she was sponsored by a New Zealand family. We got to meet her. We got to see where she studied in her room, and then we got to see their house, see their property, and we actually got to see their water tap, where the fresh water now comes out of. And from that, they now have got clean water, which is really important. But also they had a lovely polytunnel with crops, and they were just flourishing now that they've got water as well. And so I just love that holistic model that, she's a sponsored child. We popped in, obviously, the water tank, and it's really making an impact in the community.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How cool. Okay, so Rachel recently just got back from a trip to Nepal with a team, which is so exciting. And so, how about you tell us about, first of all, what is a discovery tour? Because what you've been on is a discovery tour. Can you tell us what it is and what was the purpose of the trip? And just can you Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So our Discovery Tour is discovering the work of intentional needs in a country overseas that we support. So this last month, I took a team of 8 women to Nepal to discover, what is happening on the ground and actually seeing the impact, meeting the community. And it was an incredible discovery tour. Like, if the common theme throughout those 9 days, women were like, in the team were saying, my life is transformed by what I've seen and what I've experienced, and I will never be the same again. How do I come back to my family and share what I've seen, knowing that I'm impacted and I will have a ripple effect for the years to come in their life? Yeah, so it really is discovering, and I love that as a discovery tour, because you discover what the team in Nepal were doing, but you discovered Nepal, really. I think when we came to the airport, we were welcomed by the Nepal team. A couple of the team members came at like 9 p.m. to greet us. And then as we hopped in our van to go to our hotel, straight away we were discovering Nepal. It was the smells, it was the sounds. Kathmandu district in general has a bigger population than New Zealand.
Wow.
So you're just seeing people everywhere. It's just different road
8 million, I heard somewhere?
Yeah, it's quite big.
That's crazy.
And so I think for us there was just, the sights, the smells, there's a lot of people around, which is great. The traffic, the Kathmandu lights, even travelling down to a district that we travelled to, just the beautiful Nepal landscape, the mountains, the plains. So it's, it is a completely different world, but in a really great way.
Awesome. So can you tell us more about the role that you had for the trip, and how did you prepare to lead a team to go overseas? Because I imagine that would be a lot of work.
Yeah, sure. Well, we had the wonderful opportunity for Malati. She is a team member in East Nepal.
Okay.
Last year she was the interim director, so she was over here for our Congress conference. And we did a speaking tour with her. And so from that speaking tour, I really had it on my heart to do a women's discovery tour. And so we were able to promote that through her speaking tour. And we had an amazing 8 women obviously apply and come on the trip. And so I think there's a lot of planning, obviously, that goes on beforehand with our team in Nepal, all the ins and outs, the itinerary, but also making sure that the team also are prepared themselves, know what to pack. We have a what to pack list. Also, like, cultural do's and don'ts, like don't eat with your left hand.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that is so interesting.
And also too, I think...
because obviously you eat with your hands there.
Yes, you've got to eat with your right hand. And I didn't realise, because I'm actually right-handed. So we were sitting down for our first meal in Nepal, and the Nepal team was so kind to me, because I didn't realise, I thought I ate with my right hand. I eat with my left hand. And so they told me straight away.
Oh my, that's so interesting.
So interesting.
But you're right-handed.
I'm right-handed.
Oh,
so I was
my
actually
goodness.
eating with my left hand. And
Wow.
I didn't know. And so I think for us, it was actually really preparing the ladies, culture and do's and don'ts, what to pack. Kathmandu was actually cold in the morning and cold at night, but then it's hot during the day. So, what to wear is really important.
Yeah.
I made sure that the team members knew, what are our projects on the ground? What are you going to go to visit? Just really helping them prepare themselves. And I think there's obviously a lot of work beforehand.
Yeah.
But definitely the reward of that is just seeing each woman on the team, like, they were just to see them thriving in a new environment. But what I loved is seeing the friendships that were formed within the women's team. Our youngest was early 20s, our oldest was in the 70s, but they all became good friends, and we're all there for each other. We're all making sure that each other isn't tripping on the Kathmandu streets because they're uneven, but also the friendship with the Nepal team. Like, it was just amazing interacting with our, team members in Nepal, and they're just so hardworking. Their life is dedicated to this work, and so we were inspired by them.
How cool.
Yeah.
That's so awesome to hear. And so, how did you decide which projects and communities to visit during the trip? Because I'm guessing there would be a lot going on in Nepal. So
yeah.
So how was planning, what you were going to do, and
Yeah, definitely. I think for INNZ Nepal, their main themes or their project is vocational training, which is the Lydia Vocational Training Centre, water, so visiting communities where International Needs help support water, and CAP children, so sponsored children, meeting some of the sponsored children. And I did put a request in. I said I would love to meet some of the graduates of the Lydia Vocational Training Program. I had the opportunity in 2023 to help lead a team to Nepal. And we got to meet one of those graduates, and it was really impactful for the team to see a lady who's gone through the training. She's now flourishing in her career and is impacting others. So yeah, it was just making sure that we were seeing those themes. And the Nepal team are amazing. They, with the help of them and myself, we came up with a great itinerary.
Awesome. Very cool. And so I guess we can talk about your personal experience and insights of the trip. What was one of the most impactful moments of the trip for you personally?
Yeah, I think for me, we travelled from Kathmandu up and down mountains, amazing scenery, to a place called Rahatat. I know I'm not pronouncing this properly, my apologies, but here in this beautiful district, last year International Needs helped supply 2 water pumps to our village, and this village didn't have any clean water before this. And to actually, when we got to this water pump, just to see it, there was a lovely lady, and she was washing her crops. Like, to see it in use and to see the impact. I had heard about the impact from this last year from our team in Nepal, but actually to see this incredible water pump put in, and this village is thriving with their crops, with their horticulture. Just, in New Zealand, I don't know, we kind of take it for granted. I don't know, maybe I do, but like, we have water just running out of our taps that we can drink straight away. Like in Nepal, like when we were there as a team, we couldn't drink the water out of the taps because it's unsafe. And so to actually see this water pump put in, they had to dig 120 metres down to make sure that it was clean, fresh water. There's a lot that goes into this, and so
that would take so long.
Oh, I know. And it's great though with International Needs Nepal hire local contractors to do that. So it's also that is supporting the community. But to see these water pumps was just amazing. But the other story I wanted to share was so a couple of years ago we supported goats, which we still do now. But we got to meet 2 families that got a goat.
Oh my goodness.
I know, that was amazing, because this family were telling us just by having a goat, they now got another 2 goats, and it's really helped with their daily income, and it's really helped to put their kids through school.
Is that because they will sell the milk or make cheese, or how does that work?
It's actually, interesting enough, it's actually selling the meat.
Selling the meat?
It is. So,
but then if they kill the goat, then how do they get another goat?
Well, they'll rear a couple goats, and so they've got a couple goats, and then they've got one goat particularly that is killed. And so it's so what they do is they've got a goat, and this goat rears another goat, and then from there they rear a couple goats, and some go for meat and some don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's so interesting.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So naturally you think milk, and yes, there is a milk element to that. And I know in other countries, like Uganda, the milk is very much is for milk. But it was really interesting in Nepal to see that you're rearing the goats and then having the kids, and then eventually the meat is actually one way they can actually get a really good income.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Amazing. Okay. Were there any surprises or unexpected experiences during the tour?
Surprises.
Any funny moments, anything that you just didn't expect?
Yeah, I think definitely the landscape. I've been to Nepal in 2023, so I knew the roads and I knew the landscape. But driving to Rahatat, we were going up and down mountains, which is fine, but it was just it was amazing. I think for all of us, I think we thought about flying, but we decided to drive. And it was a good 6 hours driving.
Oh, wow.
But I think the team...
And the mountains.
Yeah. And so it was just I think we were just surprised by the beauty.
Yeah.
And the vastness of the mountains.
Did you see Mount Everest?
No.
No, you didn't?
No, I didn't.
Even though you went Kathmandu?
Yeah. It's... The mountains we were different mountains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I think it's just the vastness, just the mountains and... Yeah, I think the team were we were much preferred of travelled by van than travelled by plane, because we actually they actually got to see Nepal behind the scenes, not just Kathmandu or not just this town.
Yeah.
We actually got to travel, and then we went up and down mountains. We ended up going through the Nepal plains.
Wow.
And we actually went through a national park, and we saw monkeys all over the roads. It was just amazing. I think the team really enjoyed actually seeing the real Nepal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. How cool. Can you share a story from the trip that really stands out to you? I guess you kind of touched on that.
Yeah,
but
definitely. I think...
maybe a story like from the team or...
Yeah, definitely. I think too, visiting the INNZider Lydia Vocational Training Centre. So the centre is right next to the office, so it's on the same property. And it was just such a joy to meet the trial trainees. They're doing the advanced training at the moment. And just to have that time with them. So as the New Zealand team, we did some activities with the trainees. And so we had a wonderful lady on the trip sing a beautiful song called Rise Up by Andrea Day. So we were kind of saying, like, we are here supporting you, women on women,
Yeah.
and we're here to help you rise up. And you are unique and beautifully made. And it was an amazing time. We did some activities in terms of, we talked about New Zealand. In New Zealand, there's over 5 million people. And you would say to the trainers, how many people in your country? And so we went back and forth,
Yeah.
and that was great. It's always a funny moment when we say there's more sheep than people in New Zealand. So we got some fun facts.
Yeah.
And then we sang a really cool action song, which they learned, which was great. And then
what was the song?
It was called This Little Light of Mine. I'm going to let it shine.
I've heard it.
Yeah, so it's really encouraging the ladies that, you know, your light, let it shine. Don't hide it under a bushel. And so we did the actions. And so it's great. I heard that in general, we've done this before. Last time I went, did the action song. We actually got asked to do the action song again this time around, because what happens is the beautiful trainees learn the song and then they teach their families when they go back home. And then we had a birthday celebration. So we brought some gifts from Nepal for the trainees, and we gave them a little gift bag each, and then a little birthday cake, and we lit the candle, and we sang the trainees happy birthday.
Aww.
And this is really, really important, because for many young women or girls in Nepal, they may have never got their birthday celebrated. For some of the trainees, this may be the first time they've had their birthday celebrated and heard the happy birthday song.
Yeah.
And so we heard afterwards that the ladies were so excited by the birthday celebration that they couldn't sleep that night. And so for us, also saying that you are seen, you are valued, and we want to honour you in this moment. And then Helen on our team, she did a health class on first aid kits, because she's an ambulance driver.
So she ran the class?
She ran the class.
Wow.
Karen was the model.
Cool.
And she did a whole lot of training on like how to apply a bandage, what do you do if you get burned, all kinds of things. And she was able to fundraise through family and friends for first aid kits. So each trainee got a first aid kit.
Oh, that's
It
awesome.
was so amazing. And then we had lunch with the trainees. And so it was just really good to just have that one-on-one and just get alongside our fellow women, you know what I mean, and encourage them. But I think we went away encouraged, and then we went out to have a look at the vocational training centre, and we actually got to see the trainees actually in their tailoring room sewing, and they took all our measurements and they sewed us a top. And we've got that here in New Zealand. Yeah.
Cool. That's amazing.
Yeah. It was
Very
so
special.
good. It was very special.
Okay, and so how, I guess you kind of talked about that, but how did the team respond to seeing the projects firsthand? Because we have a lot of donors that, or supporters that, you know, see what we do on our website and on our updates, but I think like actually being there in person would be so different. So like what was their response to seeing everything?
I think it just became real. You know, we had a couple of ladies on the trip who had been supporting the Lydia Centre for a long time. One of them, it was been her dream to come to Lydia, so her dream came true. But I think for them to actually meet the trainees, see the centre, see just how incredible the project was really impacting for them to actually see it in person. And even seeing the water pumps, or we visited a community that International INNZ is thinking of supporting and meet those community people was amazing. So I think for our team, it just became real, I think. And I think they were just really absolutely blown away by the work of International INNZ Nepal. But the vast work, International INNZ Nepal is working in so many communities and doing so much great work. I think they were just like, wow, they do so much and they're so dedicated.
They didn't realise.
Yes. Actually, someone on the trip said, I didn't realise how much International INNZ Nepal does to help transform lives in the community. I think it was a real eye-opener. Yeah.
When you start putting faces to, like, you know, what you read about or even what you support, I think you get such a great revelation of what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think too, like, just the friendships built with the Nepal team as well. Like, there were definitely tears as we said goodbye to our brothers and sisters. Many tears as we left Nepal.
Were there any challenges or emotional moments the team faced during the trip?
I think, challenging moments, I would probably say just, going like sickness probably. I'm just trying to think like sickness, a couple of people got sick. I got sick, I went down for a whole day sick.
Wow.
And
what was it from? Like just the food or
it
was just a
like
cold or?
I think it was probably from eating some chicken.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember biting into a piece of...
chicken can be dangerous.
I bit into a piece of chicken because you don't know the chicken there. Like it's not like in New Zealand you cut through a chicken breast. You know it's cooked or not. Like I bit into a piece of chicken.
It was raw chicken.
And it was like pinky red. So I went down for like a day.
Oh no!
I'm thinking it was probably that. It could be something else, but it was from the chicken. Yeah. So but I was able to get some medical treatment and felt a lot better and was able to continue. So I think the challenging for the team was probably a couple of people got sick, just in general, like colds. There was a few colds going around. It's a different climate. It's colder.
Yeah.
So a couple of people got a cold. Obviously, I possibly ate some chicken that wasn't the best. Definitely went vegetarian for the rest of the Discovery tour. But I think that was probably the challenging thing. And I think too, like, it's a different time zone as well. So when you get there, you're adjusting to a different time zone.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of tiredness, but we made sure that the first day of the Discovery tour was a down day. So we had orientation at the hotel late in the morning with the Nepal team, just to orientate ourselves, like even like simple health and safety, like crossing the road in Kathmandu is different to crossing the road here in Tauranga.
Yes.
And so I think
I guess it'd be quite hectic.
It was.
Like bikes and like just people everywhere.
Yeah. And so I think too, it was really good just to have the orientation.
Yeah.
And then we had lunch at the hotel. And that was good to just introduce the team to a different type of food, delicious food, Nepali food. And then we did some shopping. For the first day, I really felt we travelled for like 15 hours.
Yeah.
We travelled overnight. And so I think for the team, it was just really just get their feet on the ground.
And jet lag as well. You have to adjust to in your time zone. And
exactly. So I think... we really wanted to make sure that we were looking after the team as we always would, but having that down day to start was really, really important.
Cool.
And then when people were getting sick, just making sure, the lovely thing about the team is they were like, do you need vitamin C? What do you need? Do you need a lozenge? Yeah. Everyone was helping each other, everyone was looking after each other, and I love just seeing the care that the team had for each other.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so I guess you talked about the Lydia Centre that you visited.
Yeah.
Was there any other projects that you guys visited? And can you talk about the impact that those projects have on communities in Nepal?
Yeah, definitely. So as a team, we went to a district called Kavir. And we actually got to visit some of the water wells that International INNZ has put in. And it was really neat because the team got to meet local community residents actually at the water well, collecting water.
Okay.
And so I think, amazing. Like this district, we put in a couple water wells and it really is making an impact. Yeah. To just actually go to the water well and seeing people in the community getting the fresh water was really impactful for the team as well. So I think... it's just that fresh water, water is life. And for many families or children around the world who don't have access to clean water, it can really affect their health. So we're very aware of if you're not drinking clean water, it can lead to all kinds of sickness and diseases. So for us, our heart at Intentional Needs is helping to provide clean water to communities all around the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a basic necessity, but a lot of communities don't have that. And so our heart is to help these villages to have clean water, but also what's really important, and I love about Intentional Needs, is actually training these beautiful villages on how to, you know, fix the water well if it breaks down. Have a water committee.
So you don't need to have someone there all the time.
So we have like what we call like a water committee within the village. So it's also self-run. Right. So, you know, the community gets behind that project. They can, you know, the water committee is really important to help educate their fellow residents on hygiene, you know. Even could be the simple thing as washing your hands after you go to the bathroom, how to collect the fresh water, and also what happens if a water well breaks down. So there's also that training for that as well. So it's really, really important.
That's
I think
awesome.
We need to look, not just give a well, but what's the after as well.
Yeah, it's not just the thing you're providing, but then it's everything else that goes with it, so that it can have impact on generations and generations, because then you can pass on your knowledge. And cool.
Yeah, so
that's
good.
Awesome. And what did you observe about the communities in Nepal that highlighted the importance of the work there? Because even like you talked about, the culture is very different. I guess the way people live there is very different. And like, what did you observe? Like, because they probably wouldn't respond to things like we do in New Zealand, for example, because you know we're very fortunate to live in New Zealand, and so what is it like for them?
Actually, one thing that really stood out to the team is just in terms of a culture, should you say, the Nepali people are very kind and very generous, and they just want to serve. Like, just the kindness that we, you know, if it's just going to a restaurant, the kindness. I think the hospitality, and just the warmth that we received as, you know, foreigners, should you say, was really amazing. I think that really impacted the team. But I also think the kindness of our Nepal partners and how their hospitality, you know, we hope, and we do it well when we have our guests from overseas come on and speaking to her, but it makes us think, like, could we do more to host them? Like, you know, we do host well, but, you know, they were just so detailed in how they looked after us. Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Makes me want to go and hang out with them.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and then so I guess looking forward, what do you hope the team members will take away from the experience?
Yeah, I definitely talking to some of the team members, like, their life has just been transformed. I think you come back to New Zealand and you realise how much you have. Not saying that they were ungrateful for what they had, but in terms of a team member is just coming back to New Zealand going, we have so much, you know what I mean? We have water that runs out of the tap. We live in a house that has multiple rooms, you know, and I think for the team is just understanding what they have here and what do they have in their hands that can help others in Nepal. So I think a lot of them are come back and going, you know, we really want to sponsor a child. You know, we got to meet sponsor children in Nepal. We met a lovely man who's a doctor now. So he went through the sponsorship program. His sponsor was able to help him to tertiary, and now he's a doctor and he's thriving. So I think for the team to see the sponsorship program and seeing it actually has a huge impact. So some may be like, you know what, I really feel like I need to sponsor a child, help them into tertiary, help them into a career. I think for a lot of them, they're like, gosh, just seeing the Lydia Vocational Training Centre was really impactful. You know, we were very aware on the ground that the centre is underfunded. Like, it is a project that is doing well, but there's so much more we can do within this project to reach this project into the villages and train on the ground. And so I think for them, they were really inspired to get behind and help the Lydia Vocational Training Centre get to the village as well. So I think for the team, I think they're processing at the moment what they're seeing and what they experienced, because they saw a lot. And it's tough too, like when you do see situations where there is poverty as well. And so I think the team are really just processing a lot of reflection. And so also, what do they have within their hands that they can help support families and communities overseas? What difference can they make? You know, so I think for a lot of them, they're reflecting, they're sharing with their family and friends. They really are being ambassadors for International Needs. And also I love about Discovery Tours is people come back with such a heart to support the work that we're doing and get alongside us. And I love that.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And so what's next for the projects in Nepal?
Yeah.
Are there any future initiatives or plans that International Needs will be involved in?
Yeah, definitely. So I think the Lydia Vocational Training Centre, so the heart for the program currently it's the advanced training courses in Kathmandu, which is really important, the 3 months training course, because we do have a residential building where the ladies can stay. And we have done a couple of trainee programs within the community, but unfortunately we don't have enough funds to continue that training in the community. So I think for us coming back, there's going to be a bit of fundraising going on to help the Lydia Vocational Training go into these villages. What we found visiting some of the graduates was amazing, thriving in their businesses. But we did meet 2 ladies. They had gone through the training. And they had gone back to their village and started to help train other young ladies in the community who are now thriving.
Doing their own sort of training course.
So these lovely ladies went back to their village and taught on tailoring skills. So we met one lady and she had gone through the training, come back, taught another woman, and now this beautiful woman is able to sell 4 things, like 4 items of clothing, and she's selling them from her home business and doing well. The only thing that we find is that what we would like to do at International Needs is support these women, these graduates who are going back to their village. They need material. Like material is a really big thing. They need material so that they can actually help train women.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at how can we provide the graduates, if they would like to become like a trainee per se, and train other women.
Almost like self-help groups.
Yeah, it's kind of like self-help groups. And so, having them with material that they can then have enough resources, should I say, to then train other women in their community going forward. And so I think that was definitely a takeaway. It was amazing to see potential communities where International Needs New Zealand will be helping to work within a water project. So meeting this community, we got to meet the community, we got to meet the beautiful children. And so there's a lot, International Needs Nepal's vision is to continue to transform lives. And so what I love about that is we got to see firsthand their vision on the ground.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sweet. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your experience on the trip?
Yeah.
Any last words?
Yeah, definitely. I think I would just really encourage people here in New Zealand to go. It was really interesting, like hearing some of the stories of the women on the team and how they even got to go. I think for them, they just had to take that leap of faith. And, it is a completely new world. And also, yes, there's finances and things. And so for many of them, they had to go, right, we're going to make this happen. So I already encourage people to go. Your life won't be the same. And you'll just come back with so much zeal and so much passion in your heart to help others.
Awesome. That's cool. And so, speaking of that, do we have any upcoming opportunities for people to be able to go? Or do they need to get in touch if they want to go on a discovery tour? Can you explain on
sure.
the process?
Yeah, definitely. So I think for our beautiful supporters and donors, if you'd like to go on a discovery tour, you can contact International Needs and just let us know. If there's a particular country you have in your heart, so if you're like, actually, I would like to go to Nepal, then you could write to us. So my email address is Rachel, so it's RACHEL at INNZ.org.nz.
So you can actually, on the screen.
Yes. So you can actually just write to me and go like, I would love to go on a discovery show. I have a real heart for Nepal. I'd love to go to Nepal. Or you may have a sponsored child in Uganda and you're like, actually, I'd like to visit my sponsored child. Are you doing?
So people can do that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
People can do that,
cool.
Which is amazing.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So if you want to maybe go to the country where you're supporting a child or a project, just let us know if there's a particular country, or you might be like, you know what, I'm open to what discovery tours you're doing. So this year we've got 2 discovery tours. So obviously Nepal one's just been.
Yeah.
But we've also got a discovery tour going to Uganda and Kenya in June. The team is full, but we are looking at doing like 2 discovery tours a year. So definitely give your interest now because the teams do fill up fast.
Because I guess like we do have a limited number.
Yes. So I think if you are interested, give us an email or give us a call. Like if you just want to talk it through, like do you know more detail? Like we're here to support you to be able to go if that is a possibility for you.
Awesome. And so because we talked a lot about Nepal and the projects in Nepal and all of that, how can our listeners get involved in supporting the work over in Nepal specifically?
Yeah, definitely. So you can go to our website, www.innz.org.nz. Judith will pop it on the screen. I said that really fast.
Don't worry.
So have a look. We've got where we serve within the world, and you can click on Southeast Asia and Nepal.
Cool.
You'll see the Vocational Training Centre.
Cool.
So it's called the Lydia Vocational Training Centre, where they train women throughout Nepal with tailoring skills to help open their own business or advance them in their current business. And so you can go have a look at that project. You can have a look at the water project. So I would definitely say if you can, do get behind these projects because they are making a huge difference. Or you may have a heart to like sponsor a child. Like it's just, I think for all of us, we were just so amazed meeting these children. They're so passionate about their study, so hardworking. Some of the children we met were in school, some of them in tertiary, some of them were in their careers. And so seeing the impact of the child sponsorship program was amazing. So sponsoring a child really is the key to education for children in Nepal. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for coming on the podcast today and being
Judith.
our first official guest.
So excited.
That's very exciting. Feel free to pop in the comments any topics or anything that you'd like us to talk about. And thank you so much for listening. Make sure that you subscribe to our podcast so you can stay in touch and know when there's a new episode coming out. And we'll just see you very soon. Don't forget to follow us on social media as well. We'll put all of that in the description down below. And we'll just see you next time.
Awesome.
See ya.
Bye.